This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review the Tim Burton classic Beetlejuice, plus new details about Jurassic World 4. A Fantastic Four set video has our first look at The Thing. A Daredevil and Wolverine deleted scene shows another character may have escaped the void. Quick thoughts on Rings of Power Season 2, the Terminator anime series, the movie Strange Darling, and more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, September 2nd, 2024.
This is Jason Mewes, and for reasons best left between you and your therapist, you're listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Snooch to the nooch. Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up.
We talk it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We talk it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
Oh, what's up, listener? How's it going? Thank you for pressing play and welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero, TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
And joining us, he's the ghost with the most. Joining us from the afterlife. You say his name 3 times, he will show up at your house, eat your sandwiches, drink your beer. All you have to do is say penis juice 3 times. I'm sorry, Rug Boy. Rug Boy, Rug Boy, Rug Boy. Is he here?
One time.
You're here? Penis juice, penis juice, penis juice.
Oh, now I'm here.
Okay, now he shows up. It's the only way.
Yeah. I tricked you into saying it 3 times.
The only way I can get Rug Boy to show up for the podcast is by saying penis juice 3 times.
And what happens when you say it out loud in your house?
I get weird stares from the dogs.
Does the landlord want to immediately evict you from the premises?
And what's going on over there? Penis juice. Yo, stop yelling penis juice.
It's just funny to say.
It is funny. It is funny. Anthony,
look, everyone at home, try saying it without laughing.
It's so funny. It'll make you laugh. Come on. Do it now. Okay, did it? See? Isn't that fun?
No, he's not going to say it. We're going to see if we can trick him into saying it.
I just want to isolate the audio of anything he's saying. Penis juice, penis juice, penis juice. could come in handy.
I knew there was something. You had something up your sleeve there.
Did
so I didn't play into your game.
All right. Curses foiled again. If it wasn't
We're always looking for good Anthony drops.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got.
I stick it up my asshole.
Like nothing's gonna be.
That's all time.
It's gonna be better than that one.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's really good.
Anyways,
I would say I was talking to one of my friends. Just as a quick aside, going, "Hey, you still podcasting?" Yeah, I've been doing it for 10 years. And then I said to him, with the amount of audio that's recorded for me, and for all of you guys, like. Anyone could snippet any audio and paint us in any picture they wanted.
Oh yeah.
There's probably enough clips of me being, a racist, misogynist, a feminist.
Sure.
I hate myself. Like you could have any. There's enough audio out there to paint any story you want with my voice.
You're right. And that would take a lot of work, but it's even easier now.
You have to be like running for office of some kind for anyone to care.
You could feed all of the episodes into AI, and it would do all 3 of us. It would have.
Can we just do that?
We could, and then we could just tell it to make the show.
Yeah, make the show.
Just you. But there is, hundreds of hours, thousands.
Right.
It's got to be.
Right.
That's pretty crazy to think.
Just talking, and you could cut it up however you want.
Nobody do that.
Here we go.
Anyways, no, I said don't do it, so it's not going to happen. Nobody do that. Fun stuff.
Nobody do that.
Penis just
say 3 times.
It'll happen. Home. All right, we're going to talk about that movie later, but got a couple of geek things to discuss first. Let's get to it.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
All right, you guys like dinosaurs, right? Who doesn't? Jurassic.
I like turtles.
Oh, wait. Where's that?
I like turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I like
you
turtles.
had that?
Yeah,
oh,
of course
shit.
I have that. I don't know why, but I did have that. I like turtles.
My God.
I like dinosaurs. Everybody loves dinosaurs. The Jurassic Park / World movies make lots of money. Well, they're making another one. Jurassic World 4 officially has a title. We got some photos, and most importantly, a plot synopsis, story details. It is called Jurassic World Rebirth.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the most inventive They haven't
Rebirth.
They haven't done a rebirth yet. There's been other rebirths, but not in Jurassic World. So
I'm waiting for Afterbirth to come out.
There's going to be Afterbirth. Jurassic World 5, The Placenta Returns. So they put out some photos. Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, this other guy, I don't even know what his name is, Jonathan Bailey. Quick photos. But here is the plot of the movie. It says, quote, the film will be set 5 years following the events of Jurassic World Dominion, when the planet's ecology has proven largely inhospitable to dinosaurs. Those remaining exist in isolated equatorial environments with climates resembling the one in which they once thrived. The three most colossal creatures within that tropical biosphere hold the key to a drug that will bring miraculous life-saving benefits to humankind. Covert operations expert Zora Bennett, played by Scarlett Johansson, attempts to secure the genetic material from the dinosaurs, but ends up stranded with a civilian family on an island that holds a secret being kept from humanity for decades. So they're they told us there's going to be a fresh take, new cast, a new era, Jurassic era. Does that sound like a fresh take, though? It sounds like a Godzilla movie almost. If you think about it.
That is kind of the storyline.
In Pacific Rim, they were using kaiju parts for all kinds of things, you know. Remember, they had a black market for all kaiju organs and shit.
Oh yeah, parts and DNA. What do you guys think about that? Does that do anything for anybody? Floppy Jock, Heat Boner?
No, Floppy Jock.
For me, I mean, dinosaurs on screen are always going to be fun, right?
Yeah.
So I'll always kind of like seeing that. I thought they were going in the direction where the dinosaurs and humans were just living side by side, and now they're saying they're only in like these little small pockets because of the weather. I'll be honest, when I first saw that the set photos or the clips, or whatever, the photos online, I went, oh, it totally slipped my mind that they were even making a Jurassic World 4.
Yeah.
And then I was surprised, oh, Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali are in this? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it seems like it's more complicated than it needs to be.
Sure.
You know, maybe if you want to keep making these, why don't you just set like you just do the whole they get this family was stranded around the dinosaurs, right? You could do that. But then this whole like the dinosaurs are the key and there's a secret to all of this.
There's always a key and a secret.
That just like overcomplicates this more than it needs to be.
Yeah.
The reality of the situation is, okay, so let's say Dominion happens and dinosaurs are now roaming free throughout the world. You think people wouldn't just fucking shoot them?
Yeah.
Right.
They would be dead. They would all be dead. That's what would happen. So you'd have a bunch of dead dinosaurs, and the ones that we were like, we can keep these around because they're not really bothering anyone. You know, maybe some of the ones they could live in the Amazon or something.
Well, I mean, I guess it would make sense they would gravitate towards those areas that are better for them, like tropical zones that, you know, they would thrive. So they would just live there. But then
they would bother all the drug cartels.
Oh, yeah. Where are you going to grow your coke then? That's getting in the way
You
of
try
production.
to grow your coke, and all of a sudden a big fucking brachiosaur comes in and eats your whole shit.
That's the season of Narcos Mexico I want to see. Is just put
that would be a great storyline.
Put dinosaurs in
right?
there.
Like, it's this story of a drug cartel, and all of a sudden these fucking dinosaurs just fucking show up and fuck up their whole camp.
See how you deal with this, El Chapo. Like to see that. It's a great idea.
They would never do that.
Oh my God. Why don't they do that? Just combine Narcos and dinosaurs.
Jurassic Cartel.
This Jurassic
Coming at
Cartel.
ya.
Oh my God. It writes itself.
Oh, shit.
It's perfect. We even got a title. Yeah. I thought it was going to be like about a city and a little smaller, but yeah, this genetic material and it's going to save the humans and it's not a fresh take. You're just complicating
secrets and it's just like, I mean, why, you know, I don't know.
It's
just if you want to keep making these, just do a dinosaur adventure with people caught, you know, in there. But
yeah, part horror.
all this other stuff. I mean, the last movie went real off the rails with the insects and
it was about grasshoppers. It wasn't
I don't
even
know
about
what was
dinosaurs.
going on in that movie.
Yeah.
So.
No, it should be part chase, part horror, part adventure, part sci-fi. Come on. If you're going to keep making these. So I don't know if it's going to be better or worse than the last few.
See, the initial movie is they open up a park.
Yeah.
Right?
Things go bad.
Things go bad.
Yeah.
Then I guess there's other parks that they had, contingency plan parks. Okay, so then those went bad.
Yeah, like Jurassic World Paris or Tokyo.
But at the end of the day, you have these scientists that know how to fucking make dinosaurs. And that can happen anywhere, right? There could be some motherfucker with money who just wants to make dinosaurs for their own devious purposes.
Sure.
And I think that there was something to that they were trying to allude to, but they never quite did it right. Remember they're doing like an auction for dinosaurs?
Yeah, remember there was like a runway
market?
And a big lever that the guy was pulling, and it was
stupid the way they handled it. But I think the idea, the concept of the fact that we have the technology to fucking make dinosaurs, and you can do it for multiple reasons, like health reasons, or I mean, like you could look at their DNA and look at for scientific reasons or whatever. But I think that it's not about the Jurassic Park or now it's Jurassic World. It's just about like the fact that you have the technology not only to make dinosaurs, but to make your own like genetically modified dinosaurs. You could have a whole thing. But I think there's a dichotomy because there's people who really love dinosaurs that want it to be accurate.
Right.
And that locks you into that.
Right.
And I think that in the age of where you have like movie level CG, like National Geographic shows with dinosaurs.
Yeah, you could go crazy.
You could just watch that if you want it to be like super accurate. Super accurate. So when it's a movie, I think you got to give it a little bit of leeway to kind of be more fun without going crazy. And I think that's the pocket they should be in. But I don't know what this movie's going to be. I have no idea.
At least Gareth Edwards is doing this, so you know it'll look good.
Gareth Edwards directing,
it'll definitely have some kind of. It'll feel more realistic than what we've seen.
You'll see that you'll get the scale of these dinosaurs, right? They'll be fucking giant. And I think the Steven Spielberg, Frank Marshall are producing, and I believe they have the writers from the original movie writing this. So
that would help.
So I don't know. I have a little bit of faith. It's coming out really quickly. So this is the second part of this story. This movie's coming out July 2nd, 2025. And Anthony just said, I forgot they're still fucking making this, right? That's not far. This is the middle of next year. July is looking to be a crazy month. July 2nd, 2025, Jurassic World Rebirth. July 11th, 2025, Superman comes out. July 25th, Fantastic Four First Steps.
Geek boner.
All in July. Now, Superman is done shooting, and he's got a whole year to work on the visuals and the graphics. Fantastic Four, I believe, is shooting right now, so they're going to have less time to work on posts. And they're going to rush their visual effects artist, and I don't know where Jurassic World is. But what do you think about that? I think one of those movies is going to move. Like, I think that's going to cannibalize each other's box office a little bit.
Possibly. I mean, Superman's going to be the juggernaut of all of these because
and that's the middle one. The middle one usually suffers.
It's also going to be the most controversial, I believe.
Yeah.
I feel like if it doesn't hit, like it's going to be really crazy. Jurassic World is coming off of a not really liked trilogy that came out with the Jurassic World movies.
People love these fucking dinosaurs.
People go see them because kids love it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If I was Fantastic Four, maybe I would move.
I that's how I'm feeling. Anthony, if you were one of these studios, would you move?
And one of them should. I do agree. I don't think Marvel's going to move. I think Disney. I think Disney's going to blink, or DC is going to blink.
You think what? Really? When he has like been done filming, he's established this date for a long time. Wow, that'll be interesting.
I don't think Marvel. I mean, the only reason they would move is if they weren't done filming,
right,
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I think they would. For them to move, they would be acknowledging that DC has something on them, and I don't think they would do that.
That would be they would be giving up. They would have been in defeat, huh? They both got to show their.
I actually think Fantastic Four is the juggernaut of these three.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Because Superman is obviously more like the most like one of the most iconic characters ever. But you look at the Superman movies, Man of Steel didn't do amazing. It made good money, but it didn't do amazing. And you have a no-name actor
Yeah.
in the lead.
Yeah.
Whereas Fantastic Four, Pedro Pascal is huge.
Yeah.
Marvel's still a big thing.
Yeah.
I think Marvel with the Fantastic Four, I think that's going to be the one that makes the most money. If I have to predict right now out of these three who's making the most money, I'm going Fantastic Four.
Wow. So that would be DC's, but this is also a lot riding on Superman. It's DC Studios' first live action, coming out with the new thing. But by the time Fantastic Four comes out, we'll have seen Captain America. And so that either is going to help or hurt. You both make good points. Because I thought Superman was going to be the juggernaut, like the more anticipated.
I just think for marquee value and James Gunn's behind it.
It's resetting. He's starting over with Superman. Oh my
but how
God.
many people know that?
I don't know.
How many, we know that.
Yeah. It's a good
Go talk to someone on the street. Do they know that?
No, they're not going to care. They're just going to be like another Superman
Do
movie.
they even know who James Gunn is?
No, probably. Probably not. All right. That's all very interesting. We'll see what happens. Listener, let us know your thoughts. Would you move one of these movies? Join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. Jock and Nerd. There is a link in the episode description. Exclusive group, closed, private group just for you, listener. Get in there. Lots of spoiler threads and fun things. People are posting recommendations all the time. Lots of fun. Speaking of the Fantastic Four, here's a fun little story that's kind of gone crazy. I think I just said Fantastic Four is shooting, so somebody snapped a little footage of the Thing on set, and what appears, it looks like this is either a dummy, a stand-in, or a person in a Thing costume. That is, the look of it is very accurate to the comics, but it also looks like it's from the fucking Roger Corman movie that got made in the 90s and was never released. Did you guys see this? What do you think? I don't think this is going to be practical effects. This clearly has got to be some kind of stand-in. I believe they're going to do motion capture on the Thing, but what do you think of how he looks?
They've never done a practical costume like that.
Not even with Michael Chiklis that they not have.
That was practical.
I'm saying Marvel, like
the new studios. Yeah.
Yes,
like they've done, Korg and whatever his name is, and they're all like the rock people. They've always done.
That's true. It's gonna look like Korg, but then if you make it look like the comic, they've never made the Thing look like the Thing. Looks like he looks in the Jack Kirby comics, which is kind of cool.
In the Tim Story movies, they did use practical effects with Michael Chiklis.
Yeah.
And that was okay. It was all right. You need to get the right suit actor to pull it off.
This is interesting. This is interesting. I
Right?
think.
Is it gonna look like this? If this is what like the
I
stand-in
think
for
maybe
the
they'll
shoot
do.
is?
I think there's room for them to do a practical thing and then just kind of post enhance with some CGI
on top. Yeah.
because that's what Vision is.
Yeah.
Vision is it's that's actually Paul Bettany.
Right.
And then they
do.
do some CGI enhancements on him.
I mean, even like Deadpool's eyes and brow
Right.
are entirely. They go in to make it
This would be
expressive. It looks
interesting.
great.
I kind of like the look.
I like that it looks like the comics, and I'm
Yeah.
wondering if they do the thing. Like I imagine, like if you're Ben Grimm, like every movement you make, or if you slam your hand down, like I imagine like little pebbles are gonna fly off. Like you're constantly kind of just
Well,
crumbling.
they went way too in Fan Four Stick. They did the CGI and they went way the other way, and it looked
he was like,
shit.
he looks
He was
scary.
like 30 feet tall, and it looked like this didn't look right.
He just looked like stone instead of
Right.
a person.
Because the thing has the thing that I like from the comics has that giant eyebrow.
Yes.
You know, like he's very distinct.
Yep. The eyebrow is definitely a part of it, and the look and the color and the where the cracks are always drawn the same. So you're expecting a certain thing. Maybe they'll do. I don't know. Maybe they put him in this, and there's some CGI on top.
It'd be interesting though, because Marvel hasn't. Ruggs is right. They haven't ever really done at least a character like that. That's like
there's been practical things, but not a main character.
They haven't nailed in the two other versions of the Thing, not John Carpenter's The Thing.
That's a great movie,
which is a great movie. They haven't really nailed his look. Like Michael Chiklis was a practical one, but it was like the Mummy thing. His face wasn't right. It wasn't right. Right. And then obviously we just talked about the Fan Four Stick one. So
this looks like the Thing on one hand.
It does.
You know?
This little Twitter X post does look like the Thing.
This video, whether that's going to be replaced or enhanced, I don't know. But even what irks me is like even like Spider-Man's costume. You think just put the lines
CGI.
on the costume. How hard is that? No, it's all fucking CGI on top. Like, but make me a costume. That's why I love like the Raimi costumes, tactile.
You know, another thing though that I'm digging about this Fan 4 stick, this version is I like, and this is small. I like the color of the blue that they're using.
Yeah, it's the
that
classic
very light
blue and white stripes classic look from the
they
60s.
shied it within in the early 2000s. It was like a dark blue.
Yes, everything
and
couldn't be
then
too bright.
Fan 4 stick. I don't know what the fuck that color was. It was like gray.
Yeah, they just changed the whole thing. So I am digging the bright colors, and I think this like retro futuristic setting is going to be a lot of fun and different, and it's going to be cool. And find out a lot of things like does RDJ's Doom come from this universe? Tell us, Marvel. Speaking of Marvel things, Deadpool and Wolverine still in the theaters. Opens at number 1 again. It's made over $630 million domestically. It's doing very well. But Ryan Reynolds put out this deleted scene with Gambit, and it's really short, and it's really almost like a throwaway scene, I guess, a little bit. Do you guys watch this?
No.
Anyone? No, you didn't see it. Watch it,
No.
Rex. You watch it?
No, I'm watching it right now.
I did see this. Never
Okay,
mind.
yeah, it's very quick. It's at the end of the movie, presumably all these people are dead on the floor. You see Toad, and then you just see shots of the back of Gambit walking. The camera pans up slowly. He turns around, camera pans into his face, and you see him looking in the sky, and there's an orange glow, and there's an orange glow in his eyes, and he does a little smile. What do you think? What do you think that alludes to here?
Oh, that there's like a Doctor Strange like circle.
Yeah, was there a sparkly portal circle
that
there?
means he was able to get out before. Well, this was already alluded to because I believe at the end of Deadpool and Wolverine, one of the things they wish for when the time verse or the TVA is that they can return all those people back to their timelines.
Yeah, he does request that from the Hunter B-15, right? But we only see Logan and Daphne Keen's X-23, and it did leave me wondering. I was like, I wanted to see what happened to Elektra and Blade and Gambit. I wish it would give me a little hint. And I don't.
Would you want to see? Here's the question.
Yeah.
Do you want to see that version of Gambit have his own movie?
I don't know about his own movie. I definitely
Want to make a name for myself here.
Woo! I'm about to make a name for myself here. I need to get that as a soundbite because that's a great fucking soundbite. You say
See,
that
I
all the
never looked at Gambit as a funny character, and so
time. He made
now,
it funny.
But is that where I think he's supposed to be like a sexy character, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
isn't
that's what
Gambit
I always that was Whenever when I was growing up, I thought Gambit was a cool and like a stud character.
Yeah, like a sexy biker, Cajun, ladies.
He was like a sexy. He was like the sexy dude. He was like, oh yeah, with his black eyes. Yeah.
Oh, so they made him a little bit of a joke.
They made him a
They made him a little bit of a joke, but there's a long history, and it kind of makes sense why. I still think you could make him change his character. I don't know about his own movie, but throw him in the X-Men. I don't know, give him another shot. Why not?
I mean, you have Channing Tatum.
Yeah,
right?
he loves to do it. You got the suit, looks great.
Even don't get me wrong, I liked Deadpool or Gambit. I thought it was a funny thing, but I still don't even think Channing Tatum to me still doesn't feel like Gambit to me.
I don't know why he just had a boner for this character for like 15 years.
Because I've always imagined Gambit, like Rugg said, don't get me wrong, Channing Tatum has sex appeal.
Yeah.
But Gambit's always to me been
Not
like
in that way.
Yeah.
Gambit to me has always been like this like tall, lanky,
yes.
like model look, and Channing Tatum has like good looks, but he's also kind of a husky.
He's hunky,
shorter
beefy
guy.
dude. Yes.
Yeah, the body type isn't even like the face shape to me isn't even.
No,
right.
it's different. You're absolutely right. So I don't know why he wanted to
He
do
loves
this. He loved this role, and he had so much fun. You could tell he was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. You could see it in his face in every frame of the movie.
I feel like we're getting more Gambit. Like there's no way we're not.
I'd be all right. I'll be all right with it.
Oh my god!
We'll see what happens.
There's worse things, but
Ooh, I'm about to make a name of myself here. I shot out my daddy's dick ready. It's hilarious. I mean, it's good.
yeah.
Okay. So maybe he shows up. Fun deleted scene. Didn't really need to be in the movie. It's fine that you cut it because then you got to show us what happened to Elektra and fucking Blade. Also, now the movie gets long. Okay, so let's go from laughing about funny Gambit to a little sad story, sort of. There is a new documentary from DC Studios called Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story. Did you guys get a chance to watch this trailer?
Oh, I watched the trailer.
This one I did not.
You did? Okay. Ruggs, did it make you tear up at all? What'd you think?
Yes, it did.
It did, right? This thing is edited to make you
Absolutely.
cry. It's amazing.
I don't want to watch it.
Why? Ruggs, tell me
I
why.
feel so fucking bad for that dude.
Dude, yes. Well, tell me about what we see in the trailer and why it made you cry.
I don't know. There was a part where he was talking to his wife and he was just like, and she's like, no, I still love you because you're you. He's like, I can't do anything anymore. I'm not, I can't do anything.
He's like, maybe you should let me go. I was
Yeah,
like,
maybe you should let me
fuck.
go. And I was like, oh man, this is dark, man.
Yeah.
That's dark.
So
It is dark.
there's some great clips in the thing. Of course, they're showing him in Superman, and I think it's told by his kids. I think made this his wife. I think, and his wife Dana also passed away shortly after he did
Right.
from cancer. So that's rough. There is even a quick shot of like the horse accident in this trailer, and I'd never seen that. And he kind of like the horse goes down and he goes flying forward. It's real quick. It doesn't look like it would. Damn it! Like he got that hurt just from that quick shot.
It's just something snapped his
Something
spine
landed the
cells
wrong
or
way.
his spinal nerves. I said cells, but I meant nerves.
Yeah.
But yeah, something definitely fucked up his nerves.
And then
that's it.
there's another bit where his son is like, my dad was always active, and you know I remember him waving to me on his horse, and he's like, that's the last time I ever saw him on his 2 feet. But the resilience of this man and this story that he was about to give up, and his wife is there and his family's there, and now they have a foundation that helps other people who have these problems, helps them walk. Like he's literally posthumously now helping people walk from severe spinal cord injuries. I was like, oh, this is, I mean, you know, that Michael J. Fox documentary came out a few years ago. That was also amazing. And it showed a story of resilience and the character of Michael J. Fox. I feel like this is going to do the same thing.
I'll probably never watch it because it'll depress the shit out of me. So, but
You know who will though? Imran, yes.
Penis juice?
What are we watching at some point? We'll
Yeah.
feature this.
This is in
And
theaters
Beetlejuice.
September 21st, September 25th. Robin Williams is also in this trailer. He was very close friends with Chris and was there at the end.
oh my God.
Dude, Robin
God.
Williams has been
There's
around.
a lot of names in there. This is very sad.
It's sad. Yes. Oh, yeah. He also had a sad ending. I fucking forgot about that.
Yeah.
But Robin Williams was around a lot of people in like I think he was with Belushi the last night before he overdosed, and he was with Christopher Reeve towards the end of his life. They were good friends. But
What are
yeah,
you trying to say?
I don't know.
Okay.
There's no conspiracy here. That's for sure. It was all Robin Williams. He did all this.
All right,
Can you imagine? It was Mork.
God.
Mork from Mork did all this. No, it looks like it's going to be. I love the first Superman, and Chris Reeves is. You can't help but not be gravitated towards this guy on screen. He just had a presence. So
I loved Christopher Reeve as Superman. I
Yeah.
thought he brought so much to the character and humanity, and you know, it just he had a charisma that you couldn't deny. You just can't keep your eyes off of him on screen, and he embodied that character and filled out that suit and just made it seem larger than life. So I'm glad that there's a movie that commemorates him and the struggles that he's been through. And yeah, maybe I'll get around to watching it one day, but
Yeah, it'll be
I'm
on
glad that they made it.
But he played both parts so well, right? With the shoulders back, high head as Superman, and then as Clark, hunched over and kind of nerdy. And it just totally worked, even though you're like, that's clearly the same guy. Why doesn't
Right.
anybody see this? But he makes it work, and it's timeless and charming. So go check that out in the theaters. That is a DC Studios documentary from New DC Studios in the theater. Fathom Events, September 21st, 25th. Okay, let's take a quick break here. We're going to play some promos, come back, learn about the rules of the underworld and the underwear as we talk about Beetlejuice right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Throwback Thursday from the Mr. Throwback Thursday podcast, along with my co-host Bill. Every Thursday, we bring you classic hip-hop.
Classic. Straight classic.
all the good stuff, the stuff that you forgot about, the golden age, pre-golden age, back to the original era.
For all the pioneers, I'm going way back, way back, way back.
Each week we bring you hip-hop headlines, so we let you know what's going on with your favorite artists from back in the day. We bring you Wu News. We dedicate an entire segment just to the Wu-Tang Clan every week.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
We bring you 2 records. One is a one and done. One is a record of the week. We give you an artist of the month. We give you all the classics.
Classic. Straight classic.
Come and check us out. Every week we're on iTunes, Stitcher, and at MrThrowbackThursday.com. And if you remember nothing else, always remember, new school stale, old school fresh.
We'll get you back to your regularly scheduled podcast in just a minute. But we wanted to introduce ourselves. I'm Jason.
I'm Jeff. And I'm Blake on this highly produced advertisement.
That's right. It's the History of Bad Ideas, a.k.a. Hobie. You can find us on Twitter at Bad Ideas Podcast and on Facebook at the History of Bad Ideas. But if you like a podcast, roundtable with 3 to 5 guests, usually every week, depending on sick leave, talking about all things geek, including movies, TV.
I ain't getting paid for this shit.
Blake bitching about something and ranting, and comic books and anything else that we can think of. We have a top 5 list every week, along with a box office news, and somehow we have listeners, so they send us some feedback we answer every week. You can find us on iTunes,
Stitcher, Facebook,
Spotify,
and any good podcast app, because if you can't find us on that podcast app, it's not a good podcast app.
Damn straight. Roger says goodbye.
Goodbye.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you like this show, this is a great time for you to join our fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
And you can give back on a monthly or annual basis. We got to say, huge welcome and thank you to our newest Patreon supporter, Keegan Martin.
Geek Boy.
Yeah. He signed up for the You Pick It tier. And Anthony, I know Keegan.
Do you?
Disclaimer, yes. Keegan is an old friend from the Pratt Art School, Brooklyn days.
He's a friend from work.
I know him. He's a friend from art school. I don't know how he found the podcast, but I'm glad he did, because really, Keegan is the reason I got into Quentin Tarantino, John Woo, the Coen brothers. He helped me appreciate movies, over-the-top action, action choreography.
When was the last time you talked to Keegan?
So he wasn't at the reunion in New York that I went to. He didn't make it. So it's been like 20 years, maybe a long time.
Wow.
I really want to catch up. Remember that music video where I was dancing with the black woman in the insane asylum?
Yeah.
Keegan shot that.
Oh, yeah, Crazy Love.
The Crazy Love. Look it up. Look up. Not the one by Mary J. Blige. Remember, there's an older one called Crazy Love. So I was in a bunch of his student films. I was like a bad guy, and his girlfriend at the time was this like female assassin, and she killed me, and I fell down the stairs, and I had blood. It was great.
Like the Joker.
Yes, a lot like the Joker. We would had a good time. So he signed up and gave us a movie pick. It's called Strange Darling. We will talk about that later. Ruggs and I actually ran out and watched it and put up a Patreon movie review. So if you sign up for the Patreon fan club, you get access to a exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early. There's bonus content. This week, there was a lot of bonus content. Ruggs, you put out some things. You had an instant reaction. You did a little review of The Killer, John Woo's remake. We will talk about it.
Yeah, I watched that. I had to talk about it
on
immediately.
Peacock. Yes, we will talk about that also
I want to do
later.
that more. I feel like you Patreon should get some more stuff.
Sure.
So I didn't watch a lot of stuff. So I'm just going to kind of like throw random reviews up there.
I love that. You guys should be. In fact, I think that the what are you watching stuff. A lot of that stuff could be on Patreon.
Yeah, like
and we won't. And Imran won't have to worry about me interrupting him when he's summarizing the Korean reality show and then taking 5 minutes to summarize the first episode.
We don't have time to record a 6-hour recap of the beat by beat of the show.
Did you guys do the review of that movie?
We did. So you can check out a Patreon review of this movie, Strange Darling, that came out. We'll talk about that at the end. And what are we watching? Because It's a great
Wait,
movie.
why would we talk about with that at the radio watching when we have it on Patreon?
Well, you can sign up for the Patreon. Listen, that's true. I'll tease it some more.
We're not going to talk about it in depth at all. We're just going to kind of
we'll just kind of
gloss over it.
Yeah.
Patreon, just while we're having this live discussion, I like the idea of the whatever people are watching, quick review on Patreon. Also, these like movies that we still have in the bag that we haven't done.
Yeah.
And these like non-mainstream things that are a little like quirky. I think those reviews can also live on Patreon.
That's a good place for it. Yeah. No. So if you guys record, just everybody record stuff, send it over. I'll post it. You guys have more time to do this than me because I got to keep this train fucking going every week. It's a whole process. But if you sign up, you can enjoy.
Remember, we got 35 other ideas for the show. Make it happen.
Fuck off. We'll do them all.
Do it now.
We'll do it live. There's bonus content, and you can also join us on our monthly Discord hangout. Keegan, you can join us if you have Discord you want to join. We do it once a month. The next one is Thursday, September 19th, 2024. And there's, like I said, a You Pick It tier, like what Keegan did. You can sign up and leave us a movie to review. He's got a bunch of other recommendations of fun movies to review. So if all that sounds cool, get over there, sign up. You can enjoy the content and you can help produce the content as well. Lots of fun. jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Okay, let's get to this week's movie review. We're doing that thing again where we're going to look at old franchise before a remake sequel / of a franchise comes out. We did it with Alien and Alien Romulus, and this week we're going to be reviewing the original Beetlejuice, 1988. Here's your spoilers.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Anthony, this was your brilliant idea again. I loved it. I didn't even think about doing that, but I had fun doing the Alien Romulus.
You're welcome.
Right? And I think this is going to be fun too because it's a great movie. This movie is 36 years old, originally released March 10th, 1988. On the Rotten Tomatoes, it is 82% on the tomato meter and 82% on the audience meter. This movie, it was made for $15 million and goes on to be kind of a hit, makes $75 million.
What year is this?
1988, back when they used to make movies about new ideas. Remember those days?
Oh, yeah.
Remember when there'd be new things like just people
that just existed in the movie theater?
Yeah, people would come up with ideas and make movies and put them out instead of adapting or doing
1988. You want to hear the top 10 from 1988 in the box office?
Yes, let's hear it. I believe Beetlejuice may be on there. Let's find out.
It is.
Yeah.
It is on there. Number 1, Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh, shit. Number 1. That's great.
Number 2, Coming to America.
Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, I like the reactions too when you guys continue doing that. 3, Good Morning Vietnam.
Good Morning Vietnam. That's a good one.
4, Big. I don't know what Big is.
Classic
Big.
as well.
Tom Hanks on the piano playing chopsticks. Come on.
5, Crocodile Dundee 2.
That's not a knife.
You think that's a knife? That's not a knife.
6, 3 Men and a Baby.
Oh, that's a hard one. I don't remember
Good
any
night,
lines.
sweetheart. Well,
yes, Steve Guttenberg, Tom Selleck.
Yeah, they all sing it.
Die Hard.
Oh, come on to the game. Have a good time, he said.
8, Moonstruck.
Oh, shit. That's
9.
Cher. I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's Cher and Nicolas Cage.
9, Cocktail. I don't know what that is.
Tom Cruise. He's the world's best bartender.
Yeah.
And 10 is Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice at number 10, so that's pretty huge for this. Beetlejuice
out of the top 10, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 4 Walt Disney movies.
Oh, wow. So that does.
Right. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Good Morning Vietnam, 3 Men and a Baby, and Cocktail are all Disney Studios movies.
That hasn't changed. Disney's still pulling those numbers.
The top 10 were either Disney, Paramount, 20th Century Fox, or Warner Brothers. So
Beetlejuice, Warner Brothers. It's on Max, and it's on TV all the time. By the way, this movie directed by Tim Burton.
Who's that?
Well,
this is his first big movie. I
Tim
think,
Burton
right?
had just come off Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh yeah, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
But it goes on a run kind of after this movie. So we have Pee-wee's. Where are we? Pee-wee's Big Adventure in 1985. He does Beetlejuice 1988. Here's what he does after Beetlejuice. Batman, 1989, Edward Scissorhands, Batman Returns, Ed Wood, Mars Attacks, Sleepy Hollow, and then by 2001, he does that fucking shitty Planet of the Apes. And everyone is like, oh, fuck, what happened to Tim Burton?
And then his movies afterwards were just...
He kind of redeems himself with Big Fish. It's not bad. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But then really hasn't really... He's done like
Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, he's done like Frank and Weenie, Corpse Bride.
The Dumbo movie. The
Dumbo movie is bad.
No, but you'd be surprised that the Halloween Christmas movie, what do you call it? Nightmare Before Christmas, he produced that.
Oh, I forgot to mention Mars Attacks in there. Which was
Mars Attacks.
That was a big one for him. Yes.
And then the Corpse Bride. All those movies they're still and even the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory people still watch those movies. So
I mean, he gave us Nightmare Before Christmas also. Where was that? I missed that.
I just said that.
You did say that. Okay. And then most recently he directed 4 episodes of that Wednesday show, which wasn't bad. So Tim Burton, largely unknown style, unknown aesthetic. Audiences will very quickly learn his aesthetic in this movie and then in Batman. It's from a screenplay by Michael McDowell, Warren Scarn, based on a story by McDowell.
His aesthetic. I mean, that run from Beetlejuice to Edward Scissorhands. Yeah. That's fantastic. 3 years of just full on.
Oh, he was everywhere.
Tim Burton.
Not only him, Tim Burton, Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, all of them get kind of a boost from this movie and go on to do great things. So this movie, of course, starring. I love his aesthetic, though. Like you mentioned, it's very unique and gothic, and we'll talk about it. Alec Baldwin as Adam Maitland. You got Gina Davis as Barbara Maitland. Michael Keaton, of course.
What about Victor Maitland?
Victor Maitland was. Wait, where's that from? That's I know that name. Fuck.
Stealing bearer bonds from Victor Maitland will get you in trouble.
Is that from a Bruce Willis movie?
No, well, close. It's from Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh shit! Yes, Victor Maitland. Yes. Now I remember his face exactly. Michael Keaton is Beetlejuice. You got Catherine O'Hara, the comedy legend, Catherine O'Hara. After this, she's Kevin McAllister's mom in Home Alone, and recently on the Schitt's Creek show.
She recently had the shits. How'd you know that?
She had the shits. A young Winona Ryder. I believe this is like her second movie, or maybe her third movie, playing Lydia Dietz. Jeffrey Jones playing the father, Charles Dietz. Again, another guy, Jeffrey Jones. You'll know he was in Amadeus. He was the principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That's right.
He does this movie. He does all these great character roles. Currently, also a registered sex offender.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to throw that in because that is part of his career. He had a little problem with child pornography. Was
really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look it up. I can't not mention.
Wait, who? Say that one more time.
Jeffrey, just look up Jeffrey Jones.
Which character did he play?
The father, Charles Dietz.
Oh wow.
The principal from.
I wonder Charles Dietz is not in the next one.
After those, after him going through that, having to register as sex offender, he shows up on Deadwood in like a great role on HBO Max. But yeah, it's hard to watch these Jeffrey Jones things knowing what he did if you look up the story. Anyways, I can't not mention Glenn Shaddix as Otho. You got to mention Otho. Otho's great. Anyways, yes, like I said, career boosting for Tim Burton, Winona Ryder, Michael Keaton. Anthony.
Yes.
What is your relationship with this PG rated movie? It's an hour and 32 minutes. Have you seen it before? How many times?
I saw it as a kid. But you never really, the only character I remembered was Beetlejuice, and I don't really remember much about it. But Beetlejuice, even though I don't really remember the movie, has always been something I just knew. Like I know what Beetlejuice looks like. You mentioned Beetlejuice. If someone wears a zebra
stripe thing,
any sort of zebra print, I automatically think of Beetlejuice.
Yeah, like how
the other day I had, my old boss was wearing, as a female, she was wearing a black and white striped shirt.
Yeah,
I said, you kind of look like Beetlejuice.
You look like Beetlejuice.
She didn't take to that too well. But,
you can't tell a woman she looks like Beetlejuice.
I would never imagine Anthony would put his foot in his mouth like that.
But iconic, nonetheless.
Nonetheless, Beetlejuice is just a name that I've always known. But I partly wanted to do this because I just hadn't really comprehended watching Beetlejuice.
Before you give us the quick plot, Ruggs, what's your relationship with this movie?
Oh my God. I think I saw it in the movie theater.
Yeah,
and I thought it was kind of a great blend of some horror, like sprinkled in comedy, and that otherworldly warped view of everything.
Yeah.
And I just found it to be very charming.
Yeah.
And then I found out that Beetlejuice was going to be Batman, and I was weirded out.
And you're like, we'll get into that. Yes, that's another crazy thing.
You want to know what I walked away from that when I saw it in the original?
Yeah.
Is the music.
Yeah. Yeah.
The music just mesmerized me, and the whole score. I was like, dude, the score is amazing.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So I think I saw this in the theater. I would have been like 12 when this came out, and I remember instantly just connecting and falling in love with everything. I love Tim Burton's aesthetic. I think I may have seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure earlier, so he does a little bit of the same things in that. And yes, the music, Winona Ryder, Beetlejuice. This is a PG movie. He's being filthy. I loved it. I've seen it many times. I love this movie. Anthony, what happens in Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice. This is a movie about a family, the Maitlands, or a couple that are living in a big house out in the country, and unexpectedly they die, and new people moved into the house that are I don't know. They're redoing the house.
Yeah,
they're city folk.
They're city folk, artsy, modern artsy.
And these country people that are dead are now ghosts, but they have to stay in the house with these people, and they don't like what they're doing in the house, so they have to try to scare them out of the house. And there's this character named Beetlejuice that they might need the help of. That's really it.
So let me hear from you. You having just watched it again recently.
I literally just finished it right before the podcast.
Where are your thoughts? What do you think about this movie?
So like I said earlier, I saw Beetlejuice, but never clicked for me. And I never thought about revisiting it. I didn't really know what I was getting into again to watch this. I think this movie is a lot of fun. I think it's a very quirky movie. I feel like if you think about it too much, it really doesn't make a ton of sense.
Yeah, you don't want to think about it too much.
What was surprising to me, one of the first things I thought was I counted, we're 45 minutes in and we still haven't seen Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice is in this movie about 17 and a half minutes.
It almost feels like
it's perfect.
It almost feels like Beetlejuice, while he's like great in the movie, it's like not even really about Beetlejuice.
It's kind of not.
It's a movie titled Beetlejuice, but really just about this family. And like, it's a strange, because you like the city people, you're kind of rooting against them, but they're not exactly, I wouldn't say they're like antagonists.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to a point at the end where everyone just like lives happily ever. It's such a weird, like weirdly structured plot.
It's a reverse Poltergeist, right? Where the people are the annoying things that moved in instead of the ghosts.
Yeah, and then like Beetlejuice is kind of the bad guy, and it all that to say though, I was very thoroughly entertained throughout the entire thing. It's a movie that feels like it's just a bunch of skits,
right?
These little bits over and over and over. But yeah, I mean, it's what Tim Burton. Did he write this?
He didn't write it. Two other people wrote it, but he brought it to life.
Whoever came up with this, had some things going on, because it's just a fucking off the wall movie.
It reminds to me, it's like reverse Ghostbusters.
Reverse Ghostbusters.
All right, so Ghostbusters is like a comedy, but it has some horror elements in it, but it's played to like kind of like be in the real world. Beetlejuice is it's so off kilter, but the idea that you have a guy who is he's an exterminator for humans in your house.
He's a freelance bioexorcist.
Yeah, so he shows up, he scares the shit out of people, but you got to understand he's probably going to hurt them.
Yeah.
He doesn't play by the rules. He fucks up shit.
He's a little deviant, a little naughty.
All the ghosts are like, oh, don't fuck with that guy.
Do not ask him for
He's
help.
the wrong ghost.
But I do enjoy this whole world that they set up. So they die, and then they get this book, the handbook for the
recently deceased. There's rules, there's a handbook, there's a whole world.
And they're trying to read it, but doesn't make a fucking lick of sense to them.
Like stereo instructions.
Yeah, because Well, yeah, like of course you get a fucking manual or you get a book that's supposed to help you with things, and you never can. They never. Whenever you try and do something like this, they never make it so you can understand it.
Yeah.
So they're just like, fuck, they don't know what to do. And eventually they figure out they got to go to the underworld or whatever you want to call it.
Afterworld or purgatory or
wherever to kind of like, and then you get in there and there's all this bureaucracy there.
There's vouchers, there's paperwork, there's caseworkers. You got to make an appointment.
It's just fucking wild.
Great.
And they're just fed up with it. They're like, okay, we got to fucking figure this out, how to get these people out of our house. And this fucking Beetlejuice guy keeps showing up. They find a flyer.
He makes
see a TV commercial.
Makes a commercial. Yes, come on down.
Like he's actively trying to get into their lives
in the model. So like, I love in the opening how they set up. They fly over.
I think they said Beetlejuice 3 times when they read the flyer. And that's why he's there.
No, they said it. She says it 3 times initially to free him, but then she goes home, home, home. But he's already kind of out.
No, when they're reading the flyer, when they find the flyer, he says Beetlejuice, and then they try to say it like 3 times.
Oh, maybe that's
they don't really say his name, so maybe he can't fully come. Yeah. But he's in their model, fucking around in their model.
You get the first hint of him like 12 minutes in, a little bit, but then the full. His entrance isn't until like 45, 47 minutes.
It's 45 minutes.
45 minutes in the movie. Look, this movie.
An hour and a half movie.
I know. And he's not even in it that much. I've always loved this movie, appreciated that how funny it is, how I believe Michael Keaton improv'd his lines, kind of some dirty lines, how dark, quirky it is. There's scary parts. Like you said, Ruggs, the music is great. Not just the Danny Elfman score, but the Harry Belafonte music. It turned me on to that. It is a cult classic now. And even he uses like stop motion animation, but like everything just kind of works in this universe that this movie lives in.
He's created this wacky world.
It follows the rules. It sets its own rules. It follows mostly the rules it sets. Right? So it's a great new character, a Beetlejuice, a great new world. Can I just tell you the fucking music? Danny Elfman, of course. Doing the score, and like I watched this earlier this week, and I've just been walking around in my head, just going dun 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 dun. Like it gets stuck in my head.
It's a great score. I remember when I was a kid and I saw it, and I was like, it reminds you of Pee-wee.
Yes, and you hear hints of the Simpsons theme. You hear hints of Batman that he's going to do later in this score.
Yeah, Danny Elfman was a revelation in the 90s. It adds so much to the movie. It's another character.
Yeah.
It's basically it's just even when the movie just opens.
Yeah.
You're already off and running with that fucking music.
It
does so much heavy lifting.
It's a very energetic score. It totally fits the vibe of what they're going for. This quirky, off the wall, kind of bizarre, but like comedy, but like also dark. I mean, there's. Go ahead.
It's a fucking horny movie for Beetlejuice too.
Yeah,
this dude is fucking. He's horny.
He's a PG movie, by the way.
It's a child,
not even PG-13.
He's weird.
The old lady is like, the way I got him away from you is I just built a whorehouse over here.
Yeah, the brothel is great.
Builds a whorehouse.
I love that when he puts the spikes out. He's like, I'm feeling a little anxious, 600 years, I do a thing to it. And then this brothel shows up, and I love Barbara's like, Adam, why did you put that there? Because I didn't put that there. And it was fucking Juno. But even at the beginning, how they set up Adam and Barbara and this idyllic, quaint little town flying over the model. He's making this model of the town. You get the vibe of it right away. And I love how they crash and they fall into the water and they don't know they're dead. And very quickly, they give us clues about something weird coming on. And then you see the first crazy thing when he tries to leave the house. He's on this, I guess it's called Saturn, the outside world with the sand. They refer to it as Saturn.
Is Saturn.
And there's sandworms like Dune. They're all stop motion. And time moves differently in there because she pulls it back and she's like, you were gone for 2 hours. And then the multiple times that they try to scare the Dietzes when the Dietzes move in, and it's hilariously bad and they fail and they can't do anything, so they have to visit Juno, the caseworker. But with Goth Winona Ryder, like, she was so great. Like, this is where my big crush started on Winona Ryder. How can you not like her? She's so adorable. And that whole goth, dark, quirky vibe.
And dude from that M. Night Shyamalan movie.
The Sixth Sense?
Sixth Sense. They both see dead people.
Oh, they do both see dead people. Yes, she's strange and unusual.
I myself am strange and
unusual. And then even when they go to the afterworld, the details in this set, I love the way this looks. It's so wacky, over the top, but everybody's makeup is great. And you notice,
I love the this part where the football team's hanging in Juno's office. They're like, Coach, where's the men's room?
Where's the men's room?
The men's room, for
like,
Christ's sake.
He's like, Coach, I don't think we survived the crash. Oh, yeah? She's like, I'm not your coach. He survived. That's what Juno says. But, and you notice, like, she mentions something about, like, if you commit suicide, you are a caseworker. Oh, they say that later. And, like, everybody there has, like, suicide wounds. In fact, Juno.
That's dark. One of the people has, like, the slit wrists.
Yes. And then
there's a guy hanging.
The guy got run over. He's like, how do I look? Sometimes I feel kind of flat. And he's just hanging there. But you'll notice Juno, she's got a wound around her neck. And when she smokes, the smoke comes out of her neck. Out of there. So,
what about the other guy? The guy with the cigarette? He's like trying to quit.
He's like, you want to smoke?
So, what are the laws? Like, I don't understand. There's people that go to hell. There's people that live it. Like, I don't If you could explain to me the laws of, like, death and, like, why people are living in the house, why people are stuck in this, like, hell where they're like, you looked outside and the janitor's like, they're fucked.
Because they've been exorcised from their own home.
Yeah, there's the room of lost souls, which is really creepy.
Oh.
So she does tell them you're stuck there for 125 years. And you're going to
where do you go?
Yeah. And, I don't know. Then maybe you move on into wherever.
But then why do they want them to not to cover up the fact that they're ghosts? Because at one point she's like, you gotta, but then the movie ends with them all being a happy
together.
family.
Yeah, she's like, you can't leave any proof of the afterlife.
But the movie ends with there's all this
I think that Gina Davis says at some point, like, let's break the rules. Let's just do whatever we want.
She's like, you got to haunt them and get them out of your house, but you cannot leave proof of the afterlife. So maybe they break the rules a little bit.
I think it just makes it easier for her job. Yeah. She's the bureaucracy. They just want it to be easy because
it's a weird ending to me because the whole movie they're building up that Catherine O'Hara and molester dude
yes
are like not the best, right? Like they're building up that these are like kind of unsavory people.
Yeah.
And then so you're kind of rooting for them to be kicked out. And then the movie goes, oh, no, actually, everyone gets along.
Well, it's weird. It's unclear because at the epilogue, after the whole thing, she comes home. The house looks like it did before. It's not old modern. And Jeffrey...
I think they come to a compromise with the...
Okay, the father is there, and he's in his office, and he's reading. And then it's so cute because Lydia's like, oh, can we do the thing? I aced my test. And they do a fun little haunting to another great Harry Belafonte song. And then you see the football team behind her dancing, which is also great. But yeah, I guess they all live after
it's a very convenient and happy ending, which the ending should have been that the Deets fucking left. And then
so I do have
weren't they also saying like Lydia, like they were implying that Lydia didn't like her stepmom either.
Yeah, it's
like
her
the stepmom was kind of like not a great mom to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just a weird it for me, I was like, wait, that's how it ends?
Well, they give you,
like
and then they give you a little closure to Beetlejuice, right? After he's like eaten by the sandworm in the wedding ceremony, you see him in the underworld, and it's great because he's hitting on that lady that's cut in half. He puts his hand on her leg and she snaps him. And he's like, "Oh, I didn't see you sitting over there." Like the other part, and then the shrunken head guy is fantastic.
He takes the guy's ticket.
Yes, because he's
one switch tickets.
He's like 9 million something, and the guy's 4. And then he gets his head shrunk. And that's also great. He's like, whoa. And he's like, oh, I think it's a good look for me, actually. Yeah, it's just the last line of the movie.
I do have to comment here, too, because the Michael Keaton I grew up with was like Batman and, a lot of different characters.
Yeah.
So I knew he was Beetlejuice, but I've never really seen him like this. So seeing him like this, he's clearly the star. Like he's so good.
Yeah.
it was crazy for me watching him like this, going, "Oh, what the fuck? That's Michael Keaton."
He's almost in like a different movie, right? You clearly he improv'd all his lines and he steals every scene. That's funny you say that because up until this point, this is why the Batman casting was so crazy and controversial. Up until this point, the Michael Keaton you knew was the guy from Mr. Mom, was the guy from Johnny Dangerously, from Gung Ho, from these She's Having a Baby, these comedy movies. So he was just like a comedic actor to most people. And then he does Beetlejuice, and then he's announced to be Batman. Oh, The Dream Team is another great movie he does before Batman, also comedy. And they're Batman, and everyone's like, "You mean Beetlejuice? You mean the Mr. Mom guy is going to be fucking Batman?" But it worked out. Kind of worked out. I mean, he's a great dramatic actor as well as a comedic actor.
He can do everything.
He can do everything. And this is like, it's a great.
He's the Vulture.
Yeah, this is a great Michael Keaton role and performance. I'm actually excited to see him do this character again after 36 years. It's going to be amazing. You got any other favorite moments, favorite lines? There's lots of
nice fucking model.
That's like my favorite fucking line in the whole movie for several reasons. And then he grabs his junk. He goes, "Nice fucking model." Honk, honk. Grabs his crotch. And I'm like,
this is an F-bomb and this is a PG movie.
There's a loophole. I think back then you could say one fuck in a PG. It's not even 13. He
does drop that. He does also try to look up
he looks
Gina
up
Davis' skirt.
He's groping her. He kisses her. He's great. He's a little deviant. Just a great character. But man, they pushed
his story that he used to be a caseworker.
He was Juno's assistant.
Must have committed suicide himself.
Yes.
And he was a caseworker, and then he was too unorthodox.
Yeah, he was too crazy, and she cut him loose. So he does say he's lived through the Black Plague, so it's unclear how old he actually is, but he could be lying. Everything he said could just be lying.
So I have a question here about, so at the end, Otto is trying to, so they're... Otho, sorry. Basically, they discover that there's ghosts.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that we can make money off this by just having the ghosts perform for people, right? That's what the family wants.
Yeah, it didn't work.
They didn't work, but then Otho's like, I can get the ghosts.
Because he swiped the book and read it.
But he, instead of summoning the ghosts, he like curses them, right? Or he like puts an exorcism on them.
Whatever he did, the curse goes wrong. Yeah, it's their wedding gowns, and then they're materialized in the gowns, but then they start aging and dying, even though they're dead. They look like they're dying, and he can't reverse it. And Lydia has no choice.
Then they have to call what's his face?
Yes, and he's just smugly waiting there, and he's like,
"Let's turn on the juice and see what shakes loose."
And I love it. She says it, and he goes, "It's showtime," which is fucking great. Yeah,
I just love. Are you a ghost? I'm the ghost with the most.
I'm the ghost with the most, babe. I love when he goes, "What are your qualifications?" And then he goes, "Oh, I've been to Juilliard and I've lived through the Black Plague." And then he goes, "I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every time I see it." He goes, "What do you think? You think I'm qualified?" He does a little bit of the Bruce Wayne going, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts."
Yeah, you can see that there.
Yeah,
nice fucking model is great. I'm a ghost with the most, babe.
He threw a line in there. It's not a super funny line, but it made me think, oh wow, I remember that. He goes, "Attention, Kmart shoppers."
Oh yes.
And I'm like, oh, Kmart.
Fucking Kmart.
That was a thing.
I mean, a lot of these jokes, I don't even know if like you were a kid and you watched this, like reads like stereo instructions. It makes no sense.
It would make no, yeah.
It makes no sense to anybody.
As a kid though, I remember seeing the movie and just being like, oh, he's crazy.
Yeah.
That guy's crazy.
I mean, he goes, so when they're like, "Can you be scary?" And he turns around and makes like the jerk off motion. It's great. He's like, "Oh, can I be scary?" And then he goes, "What do you think of this?" He goes, "You like it?" That's so good.
There's a lot of non-Beetlejuice shit that's kind of funny. Like
there is.
When Alec Baldwin goes to the hardware store and he just says hi to the old guy sitting outside, and the old guy just starts babbling about a haircut.
And he's still talking to him. Old Bill.
Yeah, he's just talking.
He's like, "One time Big Bruce came into the shop and he said,
but there's nobody even in the hardware store. He just like kind of goes there and just
right, and he leaves money. Nobody's working there. It's this little town. Everybody trusts each other. I love Lydia writing the letter. She's like, "I am alone," and then she crumples it up and then goes, "I am utterly alone," and it's just perfect, like sad emo goth teenager stuff. Delia has a great line also where Otho's like, "What happened to these people?" She goes, they died. And she goes, oh, look, an indoor outhouse. She's walking by the bathroom. And then I love
what about Robert Goulet?
So, yes, this is a movie that has Dick Cavett and Robert Goulet. Now, you may not even know who these people are. Dick Cavett was a TV personality, talk show host. Robert Goulet was like an actor, but like a Vegas singer also. Very strange cast as Maxie Dean. I love when his head spins and then he catches it. He's like, don't you hate it when that happens? He hawks up a loogie, spits it in his armpit. I'll save that for later. Like
he
all
eats,
the
he
shit.
eats the bug.
He eats the cockroach. We've come for your daughter, Chuck.
What about the big Zagnut?
Yes, he's like, come
I'm
here.
like, why do you want to eat the bug when you have the Zagnut?
No, just eat the Zagnut. He likes. Go ahead, make my millennium. He says.
I'm very curious what his inspiration was for this. Like, what was he? Because he goes. I don't know what that is. He just it's just its own thing. He's just fast talking. No, like says he's very crude.
Yes.
But it's also like says like his mannerisms. I mean, I watched the movie an hour ago, so I can't put together all my thoughts.
I don't know
but
what he's doing. Like he just came up
just
with
so crazy.
Yeah,
I feel like Michael Keaton was doing a lot of like he was doing that dream team with the mentally ill people.
That was around this time.
That was kind of like a wacky thing for him.
Yeah,
and maybe he was just carrying some of that idea into this. But he's such maybe a little bit of Robin Williams in there. I don't know.
It reminds me a lot of it's on Robin Williams' caliber in terms of his quickness and his one-liners. And I bet the outtakes are great. But yeah, this may have just been this incredible, unique creation that just comes out of what Michael Keaton's in his head, everything together.
Yeah, it's a performance.
It's great. I think it's really smart that they used him sparingly because that shtick, if there's too much of it,
right,
it's going to get tired.
You might get tired of it, yeah.
He's literally in this for 17 minutes and it's fucking perfect. Like I wouldn't add any more. It's just enough time.
Well, the movie's an hour and 30 minutes.
It's it's not that long.
I mean, you're in, what do you get 5 minutes in and the couple's dead?
Yeah. Right away. They just
right away. And then right away, we're ghosting now. Yeah. We're doing this ghost thing.
Yeah, I love how much of a pervert he is. The Day-O banana boat scene is iconic and it's still fantastic to watch. And it's just also hilarious, like it backfires.
It's a great moment. It really is.
Unforgettable. When everyone gets up and
yes,
at the end, dancing. Yeah.
Yes, like that is all time in film history. Like everybody knows that scene, and it's so much fun.
Like, have you ever seen anything like that before?
No.
In a possession?
No, not in like a scary,
like a funny possession.
Yeah, like a funny. That was the thing. It was different. It was like a funny take on and a slightly dark and scary, but really funny and colorful.
Yeah, this in Ghostbusters, changed how you could view like ghosts and stuff. Like you could make it funny. You could have some fun with this.
But there are some horror moments, like when she pulls her face off.
Oh yeah,
in the thing, and she's hanging from a noose.
Oh yeah, and he's got his head
right off the bat. Yeah, she pulls her fucking face off.
Yeah, that's great. And
then later on, they pull their faces in all weird directions.
Yeah, what did you guys think of those kind of practical prosthetics and the stop motion? Like it's very Tim Burton. It
It works in this movie because it's super stylized.
Yeah, totally works.
Because like you had the primer of them going to the underworld.
Right.
And seeing all the wacky shit that they did with all those people. Like everybody's painted green and weird colors. And you got the guy who looks like a little matchstick, burnt matchstick. Yeah. you got all these wacky. So then when they do that, it works with everything else.
The guy that was flat, that got splattered and run over, I was like, holy shit, that looks great.
Yeah. It's not bad for some of it holds up. Some of the stop motion doesn't, but it does
work for that aesthetic.
It works
the
for
movie that they're going for.
It's believable in the universe of the movie. I also like the little touch, like at the end when he comes out and he's got like the merry-go-round on his head and the curled up arms. You notice he's got like bat wing ear pieces sticking out of the side of his head. And I was like, oh, is that a little foreshadowing? Apparently there's a skull on top of that thing that also looks like Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas, which was a character he had come up with like in the 80s. And so he put a little bit of that in there. But I love just Tim Burton, Danny Elfman, Michael Keaton, this production design. It's magical. It's magical, and it's a new thing. And the whole final act is great where he's he takes care of the Maitlands and the Maxie Dean, and he rushes the wedding. It's really funny. All the things where the ring is on a severed finger, and he's like, "She meant nothing to me, honey. I swear it." And he's like, "Do you take her?" And he's about to say his name. Beetlejuice's like, "Oh, no, we're not going to do that." And then he has that aside when he's like, "Do you take her to be your wife?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know. It's a big step. I always said if I was going to do this, I was going to do it once." Then he comes back. He's like, "Let's go." Oh, and then he voices her. He's like, "I, Lydia Dietz, have sound mind, and I love this man of mine." It's all great. It's and I even love when
he's going to do every scene in the movie.
I love when he changes Otho's clothes to like blue polyester suit, and that's enough to get him horrified.
Imran's going to literally quote every single thing he does in the movie.
No, I do, but okay. I got more. Let's go over some behind the scenes things because a lot of stuff has come out about this movie. I already said Keaton improvised most of his lines. It does win the Oscar for Best Makeup the next year at the Academy Awards.
That's another thing too, like his look.
Yeah,
who was like, we're gonna make him look like this?
I think Michael Keaton had a hand in some of that. He wanted to add like the lesions and the wounds and the crazy outfits and hair. So it was really collaborative because this movie started out very differently. The original script was far darker. It was rewritten. Originally, they imagined Beetlejuice as a winged demon whose human form was that of a small Middle Eastern man for some reason. And his plan, so it would have been like someone who looks like me if I was brown. His plan for the Dietzes was more about rape and murder than mischief and marriage. Yes. And the car crash was more gruesome. And then we were talking about the ending. The original screenplay ending had Beetlejuice being destroyed by an exorcism, and the Maitland's house shrunk and it lit down to the size of like the model houses in the model town. And instead of sharing their home with the Dietz family, they move into the model house and renovate it to look like their house. And the Dietz parents leave, and they just leave Lydia there to be raised by the Maitlands and wherever they are, which also doesn't make sense.
There is a universe where this is like a real horror movie.
Yeah,
I could certainly see that, but I don't know. It probably isn't as memorable as a real horror movie.
Yes, it would be a little more like everything else. Do you know who Tim Burton wanted to play Beetlejuice, who his original choice he had in mind?
Who, Johnny Depp?
No.
I'm seeing it now.
The Candyman?
Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh, shit. Beetlejuice, baby.
Who was 63 at the time, wanted him to play Beetlejuice. I don't know. I'm glad we live in this universe where Michael Keaton is Beetlejuice. I don't know if that would have been... He could have been great. Sammy was funny. And he also wanted... Angelica Houston was actually cast to play Delia Dietz originally, but couldn't do it because she was sick. Lydia...
Alyssa Milano was also in the running for
Lydia Dietz.
Lydia Dietz.
So
the names here for Lydia Dietz.
Yep.
Alyssa Milano was the runner-up, but then you got Sarah Jessica Parker, Brooke Shields, Lori Loughlin, Diane Lane, Justine Bateman, Molly Ringwald, Juliette Lewis, and Jennifer Connelly.
I could see Juliette Lewis in this role also a little bit.
Juliette Lewis, Jennifer Connelly, Connelly, or Molly Ringwald would have worked.
I think Winona's great in this role. I mean, she is.
Winona definitely always looks the gothic vibes.
Yeah, that's what I just was always drawn to her. The dark hair. And apparently they were going to name this House Ghosts originally, and then Tim Burton jokingly suggested just call it Scared Sheetless, and they took this seriously and made like a poster that said Scared Sheetless, and we're gonna go with it. The poster also is fantastic. Beautiful painting, iconic poster. Roger Ebert.
His name too, like who came up with that?
Beetlejuice. Like, it's Betelgeuse, which is an actual star constellation called Betelgeuse. So, but then the name they just for the title, it's easier phonetically to say Beetlejuice with the juice, but like it's really spelled Betelgeuse but pronounced juice. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. It's a fun word.
Yeah.
Fun word to say. Roger Ebert gave it 2 out of 4 stars. I guess he wasn't really taking it at the time when it came out. Here's another dark Easter egg. You hear when they're in the afterworld, you hear over the PA, the guy go, Flight 409 is arriving at gate 3. Apparently, Flight 409, United Airlines flight, crashed into the mountains in Wyoming in 1955, killing all the passengers on board, and nobody knows why it happened still to this day. So,
that's pretty dark.
Yes, I already went over. Beetlejuice doesn't appear until 25 minutes in, and then 47, and he's only in it 17 minutes. This movie, of course, spawns a cartoon show, comics, lots of toys, video games. There's a musical that came out in 2018. Ruggs, have you seen this musical?
No.
I kind of want to see it. I heard it was pretty good. And this was the first movie Netflix sent out in 1998 when they opened shop with sending out DVDs. Beetlejuice was the first.
Yeah, this movie is it's of its time.
It's of its time, but it's still a cult.
I mean, the fact that he wants to marry a child is crazy.
That's a little weird that he's obsessed with this teenager.
Why does he want to marry her?
Because
so he can get out.
That's how he gets out of the real world.
Stay out?
Yeah. So I think that's going to come up in this new one.
Well, the new one, the plot is that Lydia's father's died, so it brings them back to the house. And she's got a daughter now. That
right, Jenna Ortega, which is perfect casting.
And then Beetlejuice gets involved.
Oh, now he wants to marry her daughter, probably, or something. He needs to get out. He's still.
Here's the premise. 36 years after the events of Beetlejuice, the Dietz family returns home to the Winter River after Charles Dietz's unexpected death. Lydia's life is turned upside down when a rebellious teenage daughter, Astrid, discovers the mysterious model of the town in the attic, and the portal to the afterlife is accidentally opened, releasing Beetlejuice or Beetlejuice.
So I'm curious to see, because I saw some articles where Michael Keaton actually fought for reduced screen time in this movie, and now I see why. I'm curious to see, are we going to see more Beetlejuice or less? Will it be too much, or will they stick to the same ratio? That's going to be interesting.
Winona's returning.
Catherine O'Hara's returning, right, as Delia. Now, Jeffrey Jones, he's not dead. They didn't have to kill off his character. Clearly, they don't want to work with him.
They don't want to.
I think he's not going to work with anyone.
Well, here's a couple names, though, that also are intriguing. You got Willem Dafoe in this movie.
Yes, Willem Dafoe looks awesome in the trailer.
And you also have Danny DeVito in the movie.
Oh, shit. Danny's in this? Oh, that's so perfect. I can't wait.
The Penguin.
Yes, again, Tim Burton's Penguin. And maybe hopefully it's a return to form for a little Tim Burton. I'm really curious to see if the magic, he can recreate it, but make something new and not rely too much on nostalgia. That's what it's going to have to do. But how dirty can they get? Will there be a fucking F-bomb in there? Will he sneak another one in?
Do you think there should be another Beetlejuice?
I don't know. This was, the cartoon was great, but didn't make a lot of sense. It was like Beetlejuice and Lydia hanging out and having adventures. I think maybe you either did this 15 years ago, but maybe even now is better. I don't know. They've been trying to make this movie for a while. If they have a story, yes.
I think the idea of a Beetlejuice would be, this is going to be insane, but the idea that he's a exorcist for humans, or what do you call it?
He's a freelance bioexorcist.
Bioexorcist.
Yeah.
And people just come to them when it is problems, and he's got to fucking scare them.
That's a great premise.
You could just do a TV show about that.
I'd watch that every week. See what kind of shit he gets into and how. Yeah.
Well, the good thing about this sequel is one, Tim Burton's doing it, so that's good. Also, it did, with him only being in the movie for 17 minutes, and they did all this other media, but there's a whole world there that he built that you certainly can mine more stories out of it. And, I think there's a logical next thing, right? He's been cast to the underworld and he's looking for a way out. And that in and itself is already a storyline. What if he got out? What if he got out again? What's going to happen?
And it looks like they're going back to that house, the Dietz's, the Maitland's house, that he's been stuck there the whole time. And I love that it's her daughter now. They built that whole house. That whole house was a prop. They built it just for the movie. Pretty good prop. But I can't, because you see shots of the attic and the model, and I was like, oh shit. And once you hear that music, once you just hear dun, 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 I'm like, let's go. It's Beetlejuice. Dun, 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 dun.
Your excitement for this movie is
I'm excited now, too.
After watching this, I was
it's making me excited to watch this.
I fucking forgot. They're projecting $81 to $94 million domestic opening. This thing is being projected to open big. It's currently 78% Beetlejuice on Rotten Tomatoes with 40 reviews. So and the early reactions have said yes, it does honor the legacy and kind of give you something fresh. So I just watching this again, and I watched it like a couple of times. I love it so much. It's so much.
Wait, you watched
It's
it
always on.
Because it was I watched it and then it was just on like back to back on one channel. They were just showing Beetlejuice and I just had it on. I was like, this movie's great.
It is an easy movie because there were some points where I was also like doing other things, and it's a very easy movie to just have on.
Yeah,
and you can follow it pretty quickly.
Yeah, and it's still entertaining, whatever part you watch.
Right.
It's really funny. All right, final thoughts. Let's give it a score. Anthony, you go first.
This is a 7.5 for me. I had a good time with the movie. It is kind of crazy and not always my vibe. I don't like the wacky aesthetic at times, but I enjoyed watching it. It was a good time, and I'm because I watched this now. I'm actually more excited to see Beetlejuice.
Nice.
Beetlejuice. So there you go.
Ruggs, what would you give it?
I'm going to also give it a 7.5 because it is a classic. It's a classic. I would probably even give it an 8 just on the score alone, but like I'm going to keep it a 7.5. It's an acceptable film. It does leave a lasting impression, and the performance by Michael Keaton is just hilarious, and you want to see more of that character.
Leave you wanting more, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've gushed about this movie. I'm going to give it an 8.5. It's a great movie. It's not perfect. I do love it. 8.5 for me.
I think the ending's a little weak, but other than that, that's my biggest complaint.
Yeah. So they kind of like, so she gets that whole part where he's trying to get married and they're trying to say his name and he's stopping them and he sends Barbara to the desert and then she just comes in riding a sandworm. It's kind of wild. And I'm like, how the fuck did she get that sandworm? How long was she there? What happened? So there's a lot of questions and she's fucking riding that thing like fucking the Muad'Dib in Dune and shit. Like it's great. But
go ahead.
No, I noticed in the trailer they're still using kind of, it looks like the stop motion sandworm still in the new one, which is fantastic.
Is this Tim Burton's best movie?
Oh man, Dad.
No, but it's really definitely a good one.
I don't think it's his best. It's up there.
What would you pick as your favorite Tim Burton movie?
I mean, I love Batman. Movie. I know it has a lot of problems.
I think all three of these movies, I think Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Batman,
Mars Attacks is pretty good,
and Beetlejuice are iconic.
Edward Scissorhands is also really good,
but they're not as quotable.
No,
and they're not as like you don't remember the music. The music isn't as distinct, and all. I mean, there is some distinctness there, but
God, what is his magnum opus here?
That's exactly what I'm getting at. Well, that 3-year run, 88 Beetlejuice, 89 Batman, 90 Edward Scissorhands. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good run.
Maybe
I think obviously he makes more movies, but Edward Scissorhands for me, I think is the most affecting movie is Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, I mean it's got a lot of emotion and it's sad, and you still have all the goth and Winona Ryder again, and all the goth stuff is in there, and that's where we see Anthony Michael Hall, and he's all big and jacked, and I was like, who the fuck is that? What happened to him? Boy, did you? What have you been eating? Jesus! But Beetlejuice, you could make an argument that Beetlejuice is the magnum opus. It has everything firing.
Yeah. I think that I don't know. I think Batman is great. And I think Pee-wee's Big Adventure is also great.
I mean, I think he's at his height in like that late 80s.
I think Edward Scissorhands is probably his most poetic film
because it's unique. It's this is a Tim Burton movie just by looking at things.
Yeah, and it's a unique thing. It's not off of anything else. He's not adapting.
Yeah,
like he was adapting Pee-wee's Big Adventure off of Pee Wee Herman.
Batman's
he was adapting Beetlejuice
original.
But he didn't make that up, did he? Or
well, I mean, the writers started with that and modified it and made him. And I'm sure Michael Keaton had thoughts. And
what about Edward Scissorhands? Is that a completely Tim Burton thing, or is that something else?
Who wrote Scissorhands is written by Tim Burton and Caroline Thompson.
So I would probably say his magnum opus would be
maybe it is Scissorhands.
I would argue it's Scissorhands. Beetlejuice is really funny and really good.
Yeah,
but it's not like the most tight plot.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things where you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Why did that go there?
Yeah.
It's more, like I said earlier, it's more of like this kind of movie of skits where you're just like, okay, we're into the next scene in this little bit. Now we're doing this little bit.
I think the concept is good and the initial plot is good.
Yeah.
But everything, it doesn't really hold up all around.
And like we said, Batman is not original, but he did go with it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But Edward Scissorhands for me, not the like I don't think I would ever like casually watch Edward Scissorhands. Like that's a fucking affecting movie.
Yeah.
But it's a really like it's a very well-rounded movie.
It really is. There's great character arcs, and it sucks you in. And since he wrote it, okay, I can see that argument for that. That would make some more sense.
I would say that was
Wrote it,
probably his
directed.
best. Yeah.
Good
I
stuff.
didn't get into a ton of Tim Burton though, like later on. So like Mars Attacks, Sleep Hollow. I haven't seen those movies. So
Mars
maybe those
Attacks
are-
is fun. It's kind of wild. I just love because he does a lot of drawings, and they're really quirky and fun and really good about these movies, and just his whole aesthetic and it's great. It's great. It's so unique, so fresh. It was still kind of is.
Tell him to stop doing Disney movies.
Yeah, the Dumbo was not working out. Don't do apes movies. I think he was forced into that one. I don't even think he wanted to Planet of the Apes.
That's not really his thing.
No.
He's more of like, I don't think he's an action movie guy. I think he's more of like, even though he did Batman, they weren't really action movies.
No,
they were more about the environment and the feel and the art direction and the mystique.
He is more about mood and atmosphere and quirky human drama, right? It's like quirky stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't do well when you're giving him like big budget IP that he like doesn't he can't put like he can't do like the Apes movie.
Yeah, you can't
There's no way
pigeonhole
you
Like,
it.
he
can
did
really
a great
do that.
Dracula or Frankenstein movie.
It has to fit into his wheelhouse.
Well, like he's done stuff like Corpse Bride and Frankenweenie, which is like very Tim Burton-y.
Right.
And even Pee-wee was a good fit for him because it has that kind of fun, innocent,
Zany
quirky,
vibe,
zany vibe.
Yeah, this just it's an augmented reality.
Yes, it's a hyper stylized reality. He does the scary stop motion stuff in that too with Large Marge, just like Beetlejuice does with his face. She does the same thing. It's great. And Pee-wee's like, I'll get off here. Okay.
Oh, we have to. Did we ever review Pee-wee's?
No.
Oh, that's a great one.
That is a fun movie.
That's on the little. We'll get to
We'll
it.
get there. All right, let's do some news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks.
So stupid
it
penis juice.
stinks.
Penis juice. Okay, so this is going to be news from the nation, a special What Are We Watching edition, because there's a lot of things out there. People are watching a lot of things. I've been having trouble catching up, keeping up with things. One of the things is Rings of Power Season 2. Ruggs, you watching this?
Yeah, I watched all of Rings of Power.
Okay. So I watched the first season, and it was okay, and I just don't care, and I'm not even watching the second season. But Daryl K is, and he posted in the Facebook group, haters to the left, I'm enjoying Rings of Power Season 2. Yeah, there's continuity fuckery with the lore, but I just consider it another version of the story. What I've heard, Ruggs, is that it's better than the first season, but it's still maybe not great. What are your thoughts?
I disagree. I think it stinks, but
It's
whatever.
bad. It's bad. It's not, yeah.
Well, okay, so they finally
know.
get into Sauron.
I don't even care.
But the way that this, like, and he does do some things that are interesting. Like, there's this great, I'll tell you what's good about it. They show you how Sauron got to be in Middle Earth.
Okay.
And basically he gets executed and he has to like reform himself, kind of like out of like worms.
Okay.
And that's pretty cool. And he's like a
Okay.
big blob of worms.
That's crazy.
And he finally becomes a human after he kills a human and absorbs them.
Ooh.
And he was like, okay, I'm back into my fucking form. I can start fucking shit up. And that was cool. And then he's revealed as Sauron, and he starts to manipulate everybody like Celebrimbor about the rings because he wants to make more rings.
See,
And
that's when you lose me, when you say things like Celebrimbor.
well, he's the elf from last season
Okay,
that made the rings.
I don't remember any of these fuckers' names. Okay.
So anyway, he does interesting stuff there, but everything else around it is totally boring.
It's an expensive show. Does it
So
look?
there's like one storyline that works, and then there's like two other ones that like you don't give a fuck about. And not only that, but there's things that happen here that defy logic as well. So like there's like convenient things that should have already happened but won't happen because they needed not to happen so the plot can keep going. So that's annoying.
Okay. A couple other comments about Rings. Jesse Rodriguez says, from a non-Lord of the Rings fan, but who has seen each movie, I'm really enjoying the show. It's enjoyable, and I dig the visuals. And then regarding the fucking with lore, David Ziga says, fictional canon is overrated. Nobody cares that Darth Vader being Luke's father is a retcon because it made the story good. And he's right. When they did that, they just made that up. It was a retcon. I don't wonder if people got mad then. Probably not.
That's when you're flying by the seat of your pants.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. That's true.
You're making Star Wars out of nothing, right?
Lord of the Rings
there's nothing that existed that anybody has already seen.
Sure.
So you're pretty much in, virgin territory.
Right.
You can do whatever you want. So you can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when you have established canon, that makes it a little bit more dicey. And I suggest you don't go against canon unless you have something that's so good, it's going to make it 10 times better and add more to it.
All right. Well, you can tell us if the show's good as it goes. I will not be watching.
It's already starting off on a limp.
Okay.
So
the other thing that came out on August 29th, Terminator Zero, the anime 8-episode half-hour anime series on Netflix, cleverly releases on August 29th. That is Judgment Day.
Right.
And here's what Adam Morris had to say about Terminator Zero. He says, just finished this one. Don't sleep on it if you like the Terminator universe. There's some standard stuff here done very well, but also some insightful thoughts about some pieces of the universe that I've always wondered about. Don't want to spoil anything, but wondering what you all thought of this. Spoilers to be expected. And Jose Ibarra says, very well made. It's the best Terminator thing since Judgment Day, in his opinion. As much as I love to see action and big fight scenes, I think some of the best moments were in the conversations had between Malcolm and Kokoro. I am excited to see what possibilities this opens up. Ruggs, did you see this?
Yeah.
I watched it also, and I will agree. I think it's probably the most cohesive thing since Terminator 2.
Well, it's a non-Terminator thing because it seems like it's a completely different timeline.
Well, but
completely different characters.
It's interesting because it's from a different cultural perspective. So it's essentially what was happening in 97 Judgment Day in Tokyo,
right?
Told by Japanese creators and Matt Tomlinson and their cultural perspective. But it's just an additional. It's not has nothing to do with the Connor family. It's got its own scientists,
right?
And
so basically,
fighters.
We all know that the Terminators and the people in the future have time travel,
right?
So we don't know how many people they sent back or to do what,
right?
We know that they sent the Terminator to kill Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
And they've sent multiple Terminators to kill Sarah Connor, John Connor.
But what else was going on?
But where else were they sending Terminators?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a story of where else were they sending them.
What did you think? Did you like it?
I did like it for the most part. I did enjoy it. I thought it was just it was just done well.
Yeah.
And good, kind of interesting to watch. Without it even being a Terminator thing, but I think there was some things I didn't like too much, but like they included CG in parts.
Yeah, with the hand,
it was jarring
animation.
But other than that, I think it was pretty solid. I would say not amazing, but definitely worth checking out.
I think if you're into Terminator lore in the universe, you owe it to yourself to watch this. It takes a little while to get into it. For me, it took like an episode or two, but by the end of it, there was the action scenes are great. The chase scenes are great.
I was watching it from the first episode. I was like, I'm watching the whole thing tonight if I can fit it in.
Bloody, it's violent. They're swearing. It's very adult. The characters are great. The twists are great. I thought it was really good, and it did further, enrich the lore and the universe. The philosophical conversations they have were great.
Right.
The explaining of time travel that she does is
worth
great.
watching, huh?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. And it's 8 half-hour episodes, so it goes by pretty quick. It's not a huge commitment. It's still
I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. Anthony, maybe check it out.
I like Terminator.
I know you like Terminator. It's good. On Rotten Tomatoes, the show is, I believe it's like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So whatever that's worth. Anthony, did you watch anything? What are you watching?
No.
Fucking hell, Rugs.
I watch a shitload of stuff.
All right, let's rip through 'em.
I just started watching stuff. I had nothing going on, so I was like, all right, I'm going to watch some shit. So I watched The Killer.
Okay.
That was released on
Yes.
the Cock.
There is he has put up a review on Patreon, but this is wild. This is on Peacock streaming movie. It is a John Woo remaking of his own movie, The Killer.
Right.
That already doesn't make sense to me, but
Yes, it's kind of weird.
I just think that this is a TV movie. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's a TV movie. It's not The Killer that we all love. And no disrespect to the people that are in this. There's just something that's missing. And I go into it in detail on my Patreon review.
My question, I watched this also, and it's a little long and convoluted, and there's maybe 2 action scenes, and I walk away from this going, what the fuck happened to John Woo?
It doesn't really work.
What happened?
Yeah.
This and that movie we
Silent
reviewed.
Night.
Yeah, I already
It's
forgot.
depressing. I feel like that he's done.
So in this, though, he has all of his signature things. There's birds. There's a church. There's shooting with 2 guns. There's jumping and sliding and the back-to-back and sliding and shit, all of that. But it's all like really flat and it seems rote. And I don't know. I don't know.
It feels like someone's doing an imitation of him.
And it has a very TV broadcast TV quality to it.
You know, like when all the movies tried to do John Woo stuff?
Yeah.
Or like if you were watching name an action show that's on TV, like Hawaii Five-0.
Yeah.
And they did like a fucking John Woo action scene. And that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Or like maybe like on the level of watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like with
God.
Like it feels like a TV show like that.
You know what? We have Hard Target. That's all we need. You don't have to make any more movies after that, John Woo.
Yeah, you've already made the perfect film.
Just stop.
Face Off.
And Face Off, too, to some extent.
You've done enough, sir.
But it's surprising, a little disappointing, and I'm like, man, I don't know. He's older.
There are directors that, for whatever reason, they lose it. They lose their touch.
But why is he remaking his own movie also? It made it so bad.
Doesn't make
So
any sense
weird.
to
It's
me.
not that good as Chow Yun Fat stuff. So
Look, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. You can watch it, and if you know nothing about John Woo and you watch it,
you
and
might
think
be
it's
like,
a
oh
nice
shit,
little,
that's cool.
It's a nice little movie, but if you're comparing it to John Woo, like you're like, it's nothing.
That girl, the lead. So he gender flips the lead, right? And it's this girl, and she's very attractive. Natalie Emanuel, who played
Game of Thrones.
Melisandre, I believe, was her.
Yeah.
She's beautiful, but
right,
can't save the movie. And you got Sam Worthington and Omar Sy from Lupin.
Yeah, there's just, I think doing the gender swap, even though I don't care, I think that they maybe should have gender swapped the cop.
Yeah,
because you need a romance between the blind or an implied romance between the blind girl and the killer.
Yeah.
And also the blind girl has to be pure.
Yeah.
She can't be she can't be a bad person too.
Yes, she was complicit in the bad guy's thing. So just shoot her. What are you doing? You fucked up.
You're supposed to take this innocent person and you're supposed to feel bad.
It don't make no sense.
That's why he gets involved with this innocent person, because he ruined her life.
And he falls in love with her, and the whole thing where she doesn't know he's the guy who caused this, and all that is fantastic. None of that is in this.
None of that is in this. And it sucks. It makes it suck more.
Okay,
so
yeah.
Well, I think that we should move on. Here.
Let's talk about Strange Darling. Anthony, this movie came out of nowhere. It's the one Keegan recommended. I've slowly started hearing people talk about this. Do you think Anthony would like this, Ruggs? I kind of want him to watch it.
I feel like he'd appreciate it, but I don't think it's like his. I mean, did you like Promising Young Woman?
You did.
I did actually. Yeah.
You did. Yeah.
Well, then you might like this.
So here's the thing, though. You have to go into this movie, and it's rare. And this is what Keegan recommended. He's absolutely right. It's rare one of these movies come along. Don't watch the trailer. Don't read the description. This is how I went in. You ever played this game, Anthony, where you just go to a random movie, not knowing anything about it, and go and pay money and sit down and do I'm going to fucking spin the roulette wheel and watch a random movie. It's been a while since I've done that. Have you ever done that?
During my Anthony Polanski phase,
Yes.
I was doing that.
Okay.
But it's been a while.
Yeah.
I don't normally do that.
This is the movie to do it with. I recommend anyone, if you are slightly bit curious, I don't learn anything about the movie. It spoils it. It's a fantastic little indie movie from a new rising voice filmmaker. It's tense. It's smart. Great performances all around from the actors. Very small budget.
Yeah.
But it's very
all I'm going to tell you about it is that very rarely do you watch a movie. I mean, indie films do this more than big budget movies now, especially these days. But you're doing a genre like a thriller movie, and everything kind of falls into place and makes sense.
And
like nothing's happening because they need the plot to move along almost.
Yeah.
Everything is deliberate. And I think that makes it a very tight movie. And
it's only 96 minutes. It's like an hour and a half, and they pack a lot of shit in that hour and a half. But Anthony, it's such old school, basic, solid filmmaking that it feels refreshing. Well, it was also shot on 35 millimeter film, which is a thing a lot of people are not doing. These guys are like movie nerds. They're film nerds.
This is not an action movie.
It's a crime thriller is the genre.
It's a more psychological thriller.
Yeah.
There's a lot of long takes.
It fucks with your head a little bit.
There's a lot of not a lot of super camera movements.
Not a lot of dialogue.
There's not even a lot of dialogue. It's mostly mood and storytelling.
But it's fucking tense from the frame one all the way through. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, we shouldn't say anything more other than I enjoyed it and Imran enjoyed it.
If you want more information, sign up for our Patreon. We did a full review on the movie with non-spoiler and spoiler thoughts for people. Okay, what else, Rux? Next.
I watched Alien Resurrection.
Oh my God, why?
Why? Yeah. Because I was like, I'm going through the whole Alien thing because I just watched Romulus. I watched the original Alien. I'm like, and I watched Prometheus. I watched Covenant, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna have to watch this one because I've watched Alien 3 a couple times, so I don't need to see that one again. But this one I saw one and done in the theater, and I was like, let me watch it again.
What'd you think?
See, basically, this is what you get when you don't have Prometheus. All right. This is what you get. You get a movie where it's just, okay, what do we do again? We got the aliens and they're,
what if it's 200 years later and they've been cloning Ripley this whole time?
So that's what you get. You get like, this was written by Joss Whedon.
Yes.
And this is, so there is banter. There's plenty of banter. You got Ripley's like a super
Winona
Ripley.
Ryder. You got Winona.
Yeah, Winona's in this one. And, it's not like a terrible movie by any means, but it's just like this is like we went from Ridley Scott's Alien, where it's like this horror in space. We go to like James Cameron, where he opens it up to making a horror action movie, and with like big set pieces and a giant queen, and then we have these two other movies, this Alien 3, where it kind of feels like Alien in jail.
Yeah.
And now we go to
prison alien.
We go to like they're what they're doing is basically there's this laboratory. They're shipping in like these pirates are shipping in like hosts, like people in cryotubes to these guys so they can implant aliens in them because they're breeding aliens in this base. And for some reason, they were able to clone Ripley and the alien baby that was inside of her.
Oh my God.
It was a queen.
That is a queen. I could never get my head around that.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Like cloning Ripley, okay, I'll give you that one. But cloning the baby inside Ripley, how do you do that?
That's some amazing cloning technology.
Yeah, that's fucking. That's so that's what I'm saying. Like, we're going into fucking ridiculous territory here, and then at least Prometheus, even though they have idiotic people in their movies, at least it made you think about something. Like we were like grasping at straws with Alien at this point.
Oh yeah. Well, one of the things about this movie that's really interesting is you're right. Josh Whedon writes the script, but then you have this French French fantasy dark director that Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who like his style and Joss Whedon, like it doesn't. That's not the same.
Oh,
like,
this is the guy that did Delicatessen too, which is a fucking crazy movie.
Right. So you have like this very
Lost Children.
Yeah. So you have this like very quippy script with this like director, and I did some research into Alien Resurrection, and like he didn't even really understand
what he was doing,
what the script was saying.
Oh
like it was just like the dial, like it just doesn't work. You have two different things going in.
Understand the
so
words.
It's already kind of creating this like flawed production setting.
Man, that sounds just as nightmarish as the Alien 3 production we all learned about.
But I mean, look at what happened. They got David Fincher. He couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
Then they got Joss Whedon in there and some French guy. They couldn't figure it out.
And then Ridley Scott's like, let me take this back.
No, and then they put Alien versus Predator.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And then those movies were horrid.
Yes. That was a step backwards.
And then they finally they get Ridley Scott back to actually add something to
Let me
it.
go before. Let me do something here.
Yeah.
And this man will defend Prometheus.
The Alien, the thing though about Alien Resurrection that I haven't revisited in a while, but I do remember the when the aliens are chasing them underwater. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
When they're
they had to like hold their breath because the coolant was flooding the whole place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you get to see the aliens swim.
Right.
And that was kind of like a little Jaws-y.
Yeah.
But that they also had the what was your thoughts revisiting it on the baby, the hybrid?
Yeah, so the queen makes, instead of making a bunch of eggs, creates the one, I guess, human hybrid.
Yeah.
And it's not the best looking thing.
It's very creepy.
It's got a weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it being weird. But you want to know what the weirdest thing is?
And Ripley's is his mom, though, right?
When Ripley goes into that room with all of the fucking rejects.
Yeah,
and
with the other clones.
That is a weird.
That's
that is a fucking crazy scene.
That's a crazy fucking scene. But so that like prepped me for this Alien. Yeah, it was all right. I mean, it's the same thing that happens in there. Then there's a little bullet hole that she gets sucked out of.
Yeah, always you got to get sucked out the thing into space every movie.
Warner Brothers like cartoon or something.
That part is disturbing looking because he gets pulled out of that little hole and it's just
and the way he's screaming.
Yes, because he thinks that's his mother that's killing him. I was like, this is very disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm glad that they went in another direction because I think that what they were doing thus far was terrible. And they had 4 movies, right?
They had, figure it out
up until Alien versus Predator Requiem, and before like Prometheus came out, right?
Yeah,
and injected some kind of like higher brow stuff into it.
Yeah, it got it. I mean, by the time it got to Requiem, I mean, Alien was just in the. It was just in the dirt. I mean, it was just it was the lowest of the low.
Yeah.
And I mean, even before Romulus, it was people thought it was dead. And
well, yeah, but at least I think to Ruggs' point, though, at least Prometheus and Covenant like were real movies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, that run from Alien 3 to Requiem.
It was just degrading in quality.
Yeah. Yes, everyone.
like severely degrading.
Yeah. Big jumps. All right, Ruggs, what else you got?
I watched Barbarian.
Okay, so this is another movie that I've heard you should watch without knowing anything about it.
That movie I don't want to touch with a 10.
Really? What is it good, Ruggs? Don't tell me what it's about. I just want to know.
It's not good. It's not? And okay, let me just back that up a little bit. Director wise, I feel like there's some good direction going on, but this movie is fucking stupid.
Okay.
All right. It's a fucking like the whole entire even the story that they set up is harebrained. All right.
Really?
Okay. I'm gonna
no.
You gonna watch it?
I want to watch because both Keegan and Jose Ibarra both mentioned
it's a horror movie, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you a little bit of a setup.
They both said you should watch this movie without knowing anything.
I'll give you a setup that's not going to really ruin anything.
All right.
Okay. You just tell me off the bat if you think that this is a sound way to start off a movie.
Okay.
A woman in the pouring rain drives into Detroit into like a really bad neighborhood to stare at a Airbnb.
Okay.
She gets there to open the door to this Airbnb and someone's already there.
Oh, okay. That's a problem.
All right. And Okay. So,
well, listen, that Airbnb, it may have been really cheap. May have been on sale based on location. Sometimes I would do that. I'll get the Airbnb in a bad neighborhood.
So at this point in time in the movie, what is a real person going to do?
You pull out your phone and you go to the Airbnb app and you go, excuse me, there's somebody.
Okay, so that happens, and they find out that they both are booked in this place.
Oh, this is a problem. Maybe the people are nice. Maybe there's enough room we can share this. Maybe you give me half off and I'll let her stay. We can both
now live together. Guess who answers the door? Who's there right now?
Who?
The Crow answers the door.
What?
Yeah, the guy who plays the Crow.
Oh, Bill Skarsgård's in it.
The guy who plays Pennywise.
Bill Skarsgård.
Oh, the plot thickens. All right, now it's this guy. And that's all I'm going to tell you about this movie.
Right. Okay, it's kind of intriguing.
But
I like the setup.
This is a movie that goes in a lot of different places.
Okay.
Well, this movie was considered like one of the better horror movies in 2022.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about it.
I think that it has potential. Like the direction and the tension that's built is good, but what actually happens it's like typical horror movie where like people just do dumb things.
Okay.
All the time.
Okay.
And like for some reason, police never respond.
Okay.
Like there's people like
the bad
screaming
area in Detroit
and no one does anything.
I guess it's a bad neighborhood in Detroit. They're not coming out there. I don't know.
If you call the cops, they don't come and like even look. Like, I don't know. There's just things in the movie that are just, I had to facepalm at least about 3 or 4 times with like, they're really doing, this guy's really doing this. And I guess there's one thing that's comically done, obviously for comedic purposes.
Yeah.
That's actually funny.
Yeah.
But like as far as it goes, they take this joke, it goes too far because like, then how are you supposed to be scared if you're not even being realistic at all?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I had problems with the movie. I don't think it's terrible.
Okay.
I watched it.
Yeah.
But there are some like really, really cheesy, bad things that they do. And
all right. I'm intrigued now. I'm going to have to check it out because based on what you just said and what I've heard about it, like I'm very, very intrigued.
So yeah, at your own peril, watch Barbarian. I have mixed feelings about it. So I'm mixed on it.
You got anything else?
I saw all the Lord of the Rings movies, and all I'm going to tell you is it's fucking great.
Holy shit. You sat down and watched 10.5 hours of movies?
No, because I had the hubris to think that I could watch the extended editions, which are all available on Max. I watched the first Lord of the Rings, 4 hours of it, and I was like, there's no fucking way I'm going to be able to do all the rest of them. Because I'm like, I looked at the runtimes, 4+ hours.
That's like 16 hours with the extended edition.
I'm like, I don't really have the time to do this. But I watched all of them, the first one in an extended form.
Yeah.
And then I watched the other ones in their regular form.
They're making more. Did you hear about the team behind this?
They're making a Gollum movie, I think.
They're going to make movies based on the earlier part of the story. Andy Serkis is directing. Peter Jackson is producing. They have the same writers as the original trilogy. And I just saw the story. They talked to Ian McKellen and asked him if he would return. He's fucking 85 years old.
Jesus Christ.
As Gandalf. Apparently they want to put him in.
Watching it again, I have a appreciation for Gandalf because this motherfucker rolls in every time at the last clinch moment to fuck shit up.
He's the safe guy.
He comes up, you're like, Gandalf is here. Yeah, Gandalf. Fuck shit up. Yeah. Dude, he took on the Balrog by himself. Then he fucked him up.
Yeah.
And then, oh my God, how many times, every time he appears, you're like, all right, this fucking shit's going to get fixed real quick.
He's
all right, Gandalf, go handle this shit. And that's exactly what happens.
All right. I have one last thing. I just started watching this show called Chaos with a K on Netflix. Okay. 10 episodes. It's a fantasy show. Essentially, it's a modern contemporary take on the retelling of Greek mythology. And this is all you need to know to make you watch this show. Jeff Goldblum is playing Zeus. That's really all I needed. I watched 3 episodes. It's really good. It's actually quite good. If you're into Greek mythology, It's set in like a modern day Olympia, and everything is modern, but it's in this little universe where the gods are. The city is kind of like the Vatican crossed with Mount Olympus crossed with a European city, and you have all the characters, the humans, the gods, Dionysus and Orpheus and Eurydice, and basically Zeus is trying to stop the downfall of his reign.
Wait a minute. I'm reading the blurb.
It's good.
Darkly comedic and contemporary reimagining of Greek mythology, exploring themes of gender politics.
Yeah.
Power and life in the underworld.
Yeah, it's narrated by Prometheus, who is strapped to the side of a rock, right? With a bird eating out his liver, and then it just regrows every day. And sometimes Zeus will call him, and he's like friends with Prometheus, who will call him to talk to him, and then just put him back on the wall. And there's prophecies. It's really well done. Jeff Goldblum as Zeus is fucking kind of brilliant casting. So far I'm digging it. I'm going to watch the rest of it.
Okay, I'm looking to see who's Athena.
Oh, they have a Hera. Is that Athena? That's different.
No.
Janet McTeer. I don't know a lot of these people, but you have a Hades, you have an Orpheus, you have a Eurydice. There's Cliff Curtis plays Poseidon.
How do you not have Athena?
I don't
She's
know
like
where
major.
Athena is. That's a good question.
Athens is named after her.
Yeah. Well, they're in the city of Crete, but it's all like modern. It's weird. It's its own kind of hyper reality that they've created where everybody just. And then there's Trojans who are kind of like the terrorists because they're defying the gods. They're like, fuck the gods. And of course, they slipped in a horse and stuff and they're fucking shit up. There's a little bit of that politics. It's pretty clever.
All right, I'm going to give it one episode, Imran.
I know you like the Greek gods and stuff, right? And
I like mythology.
This is a really clever modern day retelling of Greek mythology, I thought, so far. So,
okay,
I'm going to stick with it. Anyways, that's enough of that. That was a lot of things. You watched a lot of things.
Yeah, that was a lot of shit.
I did.
Listen, all you got to do this week is watch Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice coming out in the theaters. We will be reviewing that next week. That's it for this week. Check out the show notes for links to everything. Ruggs, where can the people find you online?
Rug Boy Show on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it.
You can also get him on the Facebook group or anywhere else. Anthony, where can the people find you?
You can find me online. No, you won't actually ever find me. Never mind.
Keep looking. Where's Anthony? He's like Waldo.
I'm like Carmen Sandiego.
Yes. Where in the world? Carmen Anthonito. Anyways, thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
I like turtles.
Oh. Play some of the old drops.
My balls was hot.
Oh, yeah.
Get your hand off my penis!
All right.
Jock and Nerd.